And there we go again. It's time for the second best of two of the day with HeflaTV, and I got a co-caster with me. Yeah, I'm not alone anymore. It's Grandis Wee, the awesome Grandis, the Grandis of Wee. Hello.
Hello! The Grandis V is here, and well, we're going to have a best of two between Moscow 5 and Denial Esports. Should be a pretty good match between these two. Not sure exactly who's favored between these two teams, as I haven't seen them as of late very much. But then again, should be pretty exciting.
Actually, you can summarize them pretty well. Moscow 5, decent team, a lot of 3-2-2. Denial with fucking Mad being there, the new sort of project thingy. It was everybody wanted to see this team. Results so far very disappointing. Simply as that. That's the whole story. Like maybe I see something else today, but overall Denial's performance was just, I don't know, subpar. But as I said, I mean, it's a relatively new team, even though that's not even true anymore. It's relatively, I don't know. By now they should have found to their performance, but I mean they still exist, and therefore everything is fine. So let's see. Moscow 5 Denial Esports. It's a best of two here in jDL4, and we're hopping into the draft.
Yeah, to start things off, we're going to see Faceless Void, Leech Commander, Razor, and Death Prophet taken out in Moscow 5. We'll go ahead and first pick up the Ogre Magi. Although a couple months ago this would look really weird, especially Moscow 5 love getting their hands on the Ogre. PGG loves playing the hero, and it tends to work out for them. This will, however, leave the Scarlet Mage and Brewmaster in the pool for Denial Esports to pick up.
Yep, that is. I don't know. I love to see like the different teams. Like the previous best of two I casted, they completely ignored new heroes like Legion Commander, Terrorblade. They didn't care. Like this really felt like 6.81 without the pushing part. So they just went for a solid, I don't know, split push, big fat single core with some roaming potential sort of draft. Now here this is, well, it's interesting. I mean, Ogre and Mirana. Mirana are also a hero that is declining rapidly. I mean, nobody picks a Mirana at the moment, just here and there. Like, her percentage is so low, like never before. Like, since 2013, I think she's at the lowest point ever. Brewmaster and Scarab Mage, well, it's... None of these heroes at the moment is like a crazy synergy combo, I have to say. And when it comes to late game, Mirana, Ogre definitely have more potential than a Brewmaster Scarab Mage.
Yeah, definitely. It's also weird to see Moscow 5 get both the Ogre and the Mirana, as both of those heroes are ones that PGG likes playing. I think we're going to see a PGG Mirana, and then the other support will be handling the Ogre. As far as the second banning stage, Centaur, Wraith King, as well as Fen and Ancient Apparition are going to be taken out. Still, we're not seeing any huge synergies between either of the two teams. They're more or less just good heroes all around, so the bans are going to kind of reflect that, where it's not really pushing into either direction. The Sven being banned out makes sense to me. Bloodlusted Sven's incredibly scary, and maybe just something a Denial don't want to work with, and then the Ancient Apparition would also make that a very dangerous tri-lane.
Yep, absolutely. The bans are pretty much through, except for obviously the third ban stage, but yeah, Stuns. Stuns is what they wanted to ban out. Like, the Centaur is out, the Wraith King is out, as well as the Sven, and of course the big fat Ancient Apparition. But even Ancient Apparition, like, it's not getting banned even anymore. Like, that's why I'm kind of surprised that Denial is not going for it. But sure, if they don't want it, they don't get it, and the Gyrocopter is what they pick as a core.
Yeah, and it's really weird to see Gyrocopter picked at this juncture right now. It's going to offer them a nice BKB carrier. They'll do a lot of AoE magical as well as physical damage in the team fights, with a Scarith Mage setting up for the Rocket Barrage early is fairly easy, and I think that Gyrocopter deserves a little bit more praise than he's been getting. I think he's, I don't know, a little bit better than most teams would make him out to be. I think eventually he's going to slip back into the meta, but for now, it's a very unconventional pick, although I still think he's a solid carry.
Yeah, I think we saw him the last days in Starladder. I didn't have too much chance to actually play Starladder because I was really busy, or I was playing since I got my Heroes of the Storm Alpha key 2 days ago, and I've been busy farming my experience there. But yeah, Gyrocopter, I mean, he has been nerfed, and after the nerf, like, there was like a huge decline, and I'm not talking about 6.8 6.81, 6.82. He has been nerfed before, pretty much at the start of this year, or earlier this year, and ever since he never really recovered. We had Fnatic going once for that like support gyrocopter build sort of thing, the build I play still in pubs, but apart from that, yeah, just here like some occasional performance of a gyrocopter in Pro Dota. So let's see if Denia can bring him back a bit.
I mean, now that you bring it up, the support gyrocopter build's actually been buffed in the last couple of patches. The missile is actually pretty legit, and that could be our support duo, the Scarth Mage as well as the gyrocopter. As far as Moscow 5's pick, it's going to be a Batrider, just an all-around solid offlaner, and Denial Esports going to pick up a Beastmaster, a hero that's been seen a little bit more than he has as of the past. He's still a pretty solid offlaner. Moscow 5 will go ahead and pick up an Earthshaker right now. That could be their supporting duo, the Earthshaker and the Ogre Magi, but I expect one of these heroes to be getting core farm. If not, they're going to be running with 2 melee supports.
I mean, Beastmaster got some buffs, if I'm not mistaken, the last patch. I mean, nothing big, I think. What was the exact buff on I think Primal Roar got a bit buffed.
Yeah, I think it was the AoE and damage on the side targets.
I think that's pretty much all about it. Like Beastmaster, it's a hero that was kind of okayish in 2013. Then in 2014 had here and there some occurrence with the big fat Tinker. We sometimes had like this hog combination of like the Tinker being everywhere just by the help of a Beastmaster. Now it's quite interesting to see him. So Gyrocopter and Beastmaster, the whole draft at the moment feels like a bit 2013 or early 2014. Regardless of all those changes, I mean, since the Gyrocopter is in the 3rd position and Beastmaster Venomancer afterwards, so he is the core. It's not a support. I would have loved it actually, but no, it's not happening. So Venomancer is there. I don't know, like where's this going? Relying on a Brewmaster, he's falling off relatively fast. Gyrocopter, if he's getting shut down, that's bad news for him. At least when it comes to disables, they got tons of slow. They got alone 4 slows out of 5 heroes, all of them, some push potential. But let's see where this one is going. Moscow 5, they need a core as well. Now.
Yeah. I kind of like Denial Esports lineup. It feels pretty well rounded. Their lanes are all fairly solid. Brewmaster shouldn't be shut down much at all. Beastmaster, worst case scenario, he goes in the jungle to get his early blink or what have you. And the Venomancer and Skyrath should be able to be on zoning duties and then later on do a huge amount of magical damage in the mid-game teamfights. And they also have a decent amount of tools to transition those into pushes between the Beastmaster and the Venomancer. And then whatever damage and wave clear the Gyrocopter is going to be bringing to the table. Moscow 5, however, they have a lot of tools to get aggressive early on. Between the Ogre Magi Mirana and the Earthshaker, they can keep a target in place for a very long time. Last pick of Shadow Fiend for Moscow 5 is going to shore up their late game. It is going to be a PGG Mirana.
Sorry, that was just me hitting the wrong button. I muted the sound instead of the microphone when I had to cough. So you see I'm still not fully recovered from my flu. But yeah, this is actually quite interesting. Shadow Fiend. I didn't think this is actually happening because I see Venomancer can kill Shadow Fiend easily unless there's Lifesteal. Beastmaster taking him out regardless of BKB or not BKB. Gyrocopter being, yeah, also actually quite a nice enemy against the Shadow Fiend. Brewmaster, same story. And I don't even want to start about a Skyrath Mage. So this Shadow Fiend, getting this Shadow Fiend big is quite hard. And even a BKB in this game doesn't protect you enough since there is a Beastmaster. And it's also fucking mad is picking up that Beastmaster. So, well, very interesting, I have to say. I'm surprised by the core pick. I thought we see, I don't know, Spectre, anything like that. Something that gets really tanky later on and still has all that damage potential, but it's not really happening. Either way, let's go fast introduce them. We have PGG playing the Mirana, you were right on that one. Blow Your Brain picking up that Shadow Fiend, which is for me the surprise one. King R on the Ogre Magi mid. This is definitely not happening. This is Mr. Tratata on the Earthshaker, and Tron playing the Batrider.
And on the Radiant side, we're going to have Denial Esports with Parrots taking up the Brewmaster, going boots first. The Gyrocopter is going to be played by Dural Cryo-J on the Skyrath Mage. They're going to spot eyes on the Batrider, but he'll be able to place his ward safely. The Brewmaster, or Beastmaster, excuse me, is going to be played by fucking Matt, and then we're going to have the Venomancer played by Funzy.
Yeah, we have two B Masters.
We do.
Yeah.
The Brew and the Beast.
the Brew and the Beast, and both of them are masters. Well, let's see. PGG is in a kind of awkward position, and he reveals his location just by saying hello. Thunderclap is skilled, but with King R, oh, there's the arrow, but nicely dodged. Easy to dodge when you have brown boots. Still, he's getting some harass damage, forces out at least 2 tangos, if I'm not mistaken. And look, King R is still like, hey, yo, I'm an ogre. I got 6 armor, base armor. Easy going.
Yeah. It is going to be a mid Earthshaker played by Vegas, prioritizing a very early Blink Dagger for Moscow 5. It's going to be, I don't know, just a very aggressive playstyle once those Blink Daggers come online, and before then, the Ogre Stun into the arrow is a pretty solid combo, although they weren't able to line it up looking for the first blood on the Brewmaster. The Brewmaster is going to be left soloing the offlane. It looks like our Beastmaster is mostly going to be jungling, looking for some early stacks. It's something that definitely can be done, but it's very peculiar to see. I don't know, EG have been experimenting with it as of late, and it works pretty well for them. Right now, it's going to be Effing Mad bumping into PGG. PGG and Effing Mad should be completely fine. They auto-attack each other once and then back off.
Yep. Oh, well, maybe not. I mean, the Beastmaster, man, now you got me. I'm saying also Brewmaster and the other way around. I mean, he is also like a hero with very high base armor. He starts with 4, the Ogre starts with 6. Like, those heroes are easy heroes, like, at the start. If you go, like, in really a 1-on-1 duel, like, who has the more harass damage, then those heroes are always winning. But in this case, well, PGG can kite him because he's ranged. And talking about kiting and getting damage, like John, he has to wrap around, leave his lane because, yeah, Cryo, he is just putting so much harass on. But, well, the Batrider has one advantage, it's called Brown Boots. And even with fucking Mad there, he's just getting 1 right click, and that's about it. Even though, look at his movement speed, 360 versus a 340, so he gets quite some right clicks in here. Probably 2 more if he follows him to the tower.
Yeah, not enough mana for another Axes. That's not really what the Beastmaster wants to be spending those Axes on. Unfortunately for Effing Mad, he didn't get the stack off with his first usage of those Wild Axes, are they? And so he's... farm is going to be delayed by quite a bit, and no real way to sustain his mana. He's going to be looking for stacks in the large camps, but as it stands, the Beastmaster isn't going to be getting very much out of this jungle at all. That's going to change, and his farm will eventually start picking up. We have an arrow being shot. It's going to land squarely onto Cryo J in the river, but it's not going to net them a kill. There's no other way to follow it up. Just will secure the bounty rune for PGG, and then trade hits with Cryo J.
Follow. I mean, in theory, he has an arrow in 3 seconds, so all they need is someone being around there doing the damage, like the Gyrocopter. I mean, Rocket Barrage, it's one of the most, inconvenient spells ever in Dota 2, because the damage value of that spell is on level 1 already so high, higher than any other spell. That makes it so, I don't know, worth it. As for fucking Mad, I'm not quite sure where this one is going. I mean, fucking Mad is like a good support player, obviously, but whenever they draft, whenever they play, I have the feeling they, in the current situation of Dota, like the pro scene or the patch, however you wanna, the meta, however you wanna call it, he's not getting enough XP. Like you saying he's gonna pick up later, but I mean we are 3 minutes in, he's level 1, and even with big stacks, I'm not quite sure. Now PGG in the mid, looking for an arrow, not connecting, but look at that Fissure. That's our first blood, easily done.
Yeah, it's a beautiful Fissure block coming out from Vegas. I don't get to see him play Earthshaker very much. Usually he's on more farm-heavy heroes. The Beastmaster kills off the Mirana. Looks like just sniping off PGG with a couple of axes. I didn't see that go down.
Yeah,
but I assume PGG...
It's boots versus no boots. PGG didn't ding level 2 from this, so did not have
Brewmaster up top. Another Fissure block from Vegas is going to net them a kill as Blow Your Brain secures that one out. Now the Shadow Fiend, a very happy situation. Although there's no salve on anything, the Earthshaker probably could bottle him up.
Yep, that was so close as well for the Shadow Fiend. Like, I barely caught it on camera because BGG just went down, and I looked at that, and then top they start with that Fissure. It started early on, but I actually thought the Brewmaster is safe under the tower, but no, that was an awesome Fissure. Either way, it's good news for the Shadow Fiend. I mean, he's farming there, he's directly farming against the Gyrocopter, and at the moment the Gyrocopter is 20-11, while the Shadow Fiend is now ahead with 22-10 plus a kill. The only downside is he has to go back to the fountain, so that's of course some time he's missing, and that's good news for our Brewmaster. Finally he gets some XP and also some undisturbed CS.
Yeah, which will be wonderful for Paris. He's going to hit his level 5. Really, it's not until level 6 that Brewmaster really comes into his own, and he wants to get that Blink Dagger. I don't think this really is that bad for Moscow 5, and especially since Blurrybrain gets the last hit on that kill. We have a bit of a rumble around the river as another Fissure thrown up by Vigos going to clip onto CryoJ, chasing him down with the Firefly. The Batrider looking to burn him through with 2 stacks of sticky napalm. There is a missile following through, but it's not fast enough. They're still looking for this kill with 3 stacks, and 1 more auto attack is all that they need, but he doesn't throw it out. Now the missile's going to land. It's going to save the Skywrath Mage's life, and now potentially going to look for a turn as Ron is picked off on the backline. Venomancer takes her down. Beastmaster running into the Batrider. He'll be able to bring down this Bat very easily, and I'm not sure why Batrider held that last auto attack. A bit of a miscue from Moscow 5.
I think it was either Fog of War or just Fog of Brain. Either or. Like, I don't know what that was. I can just assume it was really the vision, but Ogre is being slowed, and now he's just doing the right thing. He's just clapping his hand and going back to the fountain. Just a little harass. Oh, maybe with the arrow? No. Just a little harass Fissure in the end. That's all she said. But yeah, Moscow 5. I mean, with the Skywrath Mage, it would have been like less of an awkward trade, but this way it was a 2 for 0, and that's something, I don't know, PGG getting cleaned up. John, that was his chance to get some nice gold, some nice XP, but he didn't take it.
Yeah. It's actually fairly interesting to see Vigos prioritize Fissure on a mid-Earthshaker. Usually you see more points in the Enchant Totem, and honestly, I like that build a little bit more, but at this game, Vigos has played really well as far as getting those blocks off. The Fissure doesn't scale that well. As far as the actual block of the Fissure, it's always 8 seconds from level 1 on. I think the damage for Enchant Totem might be worth putting some extra points, but either way, he's been playing pretty well, with the exception of that, I don't know, sketchy engagement down in bottom. Effing Matt has managed to find himself level 3, but still not much more than that. They'll bump into the Batrider, concussive shot's going to fly, but there's an Ogre here, and with Firefly, Batrider is going to be completely fine. 2 stacks of napalm onto both of these supports. They bring the Batrider looking for a call down. Kingar is going to be clipped by both of these missiles, looking for a Rocket Brush. It is going to take a little bit of time. The creep wave's there, but it's still going to be plenty of damage. His Skywrath Mage gets the last hit with the Arcane Blade.
Oh, but in the mid, there we have a go. Fancy versus Vigos, but the problem is with the Acro Slam and all the hits, and a haste run, so he can easily escape. There's no Blink Dagger on Paris here, so no chance for him to somehow catch up, and in the end, obviously, that's a problem about a Venomancer. Like, Venomancer needs ton of XP to actually, like, solo 8s you down. Like, all his poison, even if you get all of it up, like, you need multiple points into the Gale, like, preferably, obviously, like, I mean, you need Poison Sting higher level, and then even your ultimate level 1, it does not much, so even if he pumps everything into you right now, you would still survive.
Yeah. And it's going to be problematic for them, and the big winner as far as this early game is concerned is Blurrybrain and the Shadow Fiend. All of the fighting down in bottom has stopped Dural from farming. Although he's been involved in a lot of kills and is still doing fine in that respect, the Shadow Fiend's currently 50 and 13, also gets a kill of his own, a very stats-heavy build coming out from the Shadow Fiend, finishing up the drums after the Magic Wand as well as Basilius.
Yep, I love how he caught up. I mean, he had to go back to base. He lost pretty much half a minute. Like, I mean, he instantly TP'd back, but obviously it was him farming, being on the same farm like the Gyrocopter, and then suddenly he had to go back. So I thought the Gyrocopter is winning like the farm race, but the truth is the Gyrocopter has been involved in that bottom fight. I mean, he got 2 kills and even 1 more now on the Ogre, so in the end I'm not sure who wins that. Oh, by top, there's a go upon the Shadow Fiend here, but Brewmaster has been stunned so far. He gets the split off, and that split should guarantee a kill if he gets the Boulder Toss out. There it is. The Fire Panda still alive, burning him to death. I'm not sure if it's enough. He still has stick charges. Let's see where this one is going, because Stradata is coming in. No Acro Slam, the second Boulder Toss, and the Panda, no, he's going down, and there's no other follow-up of any kind.
I think that was incredibly greedy by the Brewmaster. He throws Blurrybrain up into the air, potentially looking for a kill on the other supports. I'm tempted to say that that's a misclick coming up from the Brew, as throwing up one of the supports and focusing on the Shadow Fiend, getting that guaranteed kill, in my opinion, would have been better for him, and I don't know, it just doesn't work out. Blurrybrain survives, and after a first usage of split, that probably should have netted them a kill. This Brewmaster just not having a great game. All said and done, arrow fishing in mid, not going to land on the Funzy. Yeah, let's see. This Venomancer doesn't really have very much, although he's CSing well, hasn't been involved in as many kills as the Earthshaker, and has also died a fair few times. This Batrider is still saving up for his Blink Dagger, doesn't have too many stacks up. Once these Blinks come out for Moscow 5 is when the aggression's really going to start picking up, and we're going to see large rotations. Right now, it's still fairly passive, despite 1 kill a minute. Arrow down in bottom, going to land into Drow. Do they have the follow-up for this? Ogre's TPing in, as is the Batrider. They're going to be able to get the Fire Blast, and Drow just can't move at all. Drops a call down before he falls, but he is going to fall after all is said and done. King are also going to survive after a silence is thrown out by the Scarth Mage. Denial, they're leaking heroes, and they're leaking important heroes. A lot of missed opportunities coming out from them.
Yep, and that arrow, that was full duration. It was so awkward to see that he was like, oh no, no, I'm stuck here. Like, I mean, he was full duration stunned and easily. And look at Vigors, he's just TPing back to the base. He's loaded with damage. That is Gale, that is Poison Sting, and the ultimate. And yet, Fonzie is not getting a kill. Unfortunately, that was the Gale level 1, and therefore it did not do any damage. If that was Gale number 2, maybe worth a kill on Vigors here. But yeah, that's what I said about the Venomancer. Give him another 2 or 3 levels, and then he can actually solo kill certain targets with his full load of poison.
Yeah. Right now, one of the bigger problems for Denial is they have almost nothing to cancel TPs outside of ultimates. They
Over top, look at the Shadow Fiend. This one is for sure.
Definitely. There's no way he's getting out of that alive. They don't even have to spend the split for that. And Brewmaster is going to hold on to that cooldown. It's going to be a very important kill, especially for the Brewmaster. I'm going to be putting him a lot closer to that Blink Dagger, and then Venomancer also getting quite a lot out of that kill. Both of them getting a fair chunk of experience from that. The Earthshaker is still saving up for his Blink. He's about to have that, however, and once Vigos does, there's going to be a lot of potential for kills across the map. We have an illusion of the Shadow Fiend looking for a couple more CS. I don't think he's going to be able to find very many with this one, but he'll try his best. Yeah.
And actually, I'm surprised about the level that this Beastmaster got together. He's level 6, which means from now on, if they go for the Gyrocopter again, he has the ultimate. Actually, the ultimate is already coming, stunning Mint in place, and the damage should be enough with the second cooldown. It is, but the Shadow Fiend working already on him. Stick being used, he's running away, 200 HP. But look at it, there is the Fisher, exactly what we were looking for. With the silence, I think they finished this go. It's a 1-1 trade, but definitely a better one.
Yeah, I think that's Denial getting a bit antsy to use their cooldown of the Beastmaster Ward. They get it at a decent timing, or at least better than I thought they would. It's still fairly standard for his support, and I know Beastmaster can get it faster. But they go for this pick-off on the support. We are going to have a wraparound onto Vigos. He does buy his Blink Dagger beforehand, might be able to blink out of here alive. The Immolation Aura is going to cancel it. The Sun from the Boulder is going to land onto Vigos, but he's a little too deep behind the tower, and I'm not sure Brewmaster is going to be able to secure this kill, and indeed he won't. Another split going to be used for very little to nothing.
Yep, that's the second split. Also due to the Venomancer being completely out of mana. If he would have just landed any hit with the Plague Ward, for example, disable that Blink Dagger, we might have seen a kill here on Vigos, like an easy one, maybe with a tower follow-up, but this way, like, he didn't have a single point of mana, like he was on 5 mana or something by the time the Brewmaster initiates, so it kind of feels that, I don't know, the timing of their ganks is just not right, it just doesn't feel right, and at the moment, well, we have the Shadow Fiend, who was smoked up with 2 supports, but he's going south, and the others are going west, so at the moment, talking about initiation, yeah, Fonzie is going down in the mid. They don't even need the others. King R is still around in case they want more.
Yeah, right now, Moscow 5 have all of the tools that they've kind of been waiting for. Blink on the Earthshaker, blink on the Batrider, you can't really ask for much more. And despite having a Venomancer,
look at the Ogre! What an awkward position here,
Yeah.
with the Amplify Seal. He's going down immediately. They were waiting on the high ground. That is some backstab.
Definitely. With the Ancient Seal, also level 3, very heavily prioritizing that silence. The Rocket Barrage just does an absurd amount of damage, and if you're isolated away from the rest of your team, you're going to fall. That's a completely maxed out Rocket Barrage. However, the Tier 1 tower is probably also going to suffer a similar fate. The cooldown is going to delay this, as does the Gale onto the Shadow Fiend. They're going to find the Deny. In the meantime, Brewmaster gets a tower up in top as they're pushing, but the Blink Echo Slam in mid catches out pretty much everything. Fonzie is going to be dropped, as is the Gyrocopter, so Deny is not going to be worth it in the end of that engagement. Blurbrain's able to escape safely back to his base.
Yep, again the Gyrocopter eating an arrow directly to his face. That one was long and it hurt, and it was exactly what they needed. If there's one stun on that Gyrocopter and he can't do anything else, that's exactly what they needed to turn it around. Now, fucking mad, you should be... Oh my god, he's summoning his bow, and immediately it's getting blown up by an arrow. Now, he has his ultimate, he has access, but look at them. Unfortunately, not a single value point in Bloodlust. Right now, they could need that movement speed, but maybe they don't even need it. There's the ultimate, the Gyrocopter back up, Tron is going down. Now the question is, do we see a rocket on anything? The ultimate, this one is completely whiffed, but they don't even need it because King R is getting slowed, and that's it. Another slow is coming out here and blow your brain, and the arrow, oh, again, those arrows are beautiful. Nevertheless, I think both of them are done. They got enough.
Yeah, that was a very aggressive dive coming out from Moscow 5. They wanted that Beastmaster probably a little bit too much. The Batrider also blinks down towards the south instead of directly onto the Beastmaster and isn't able to get off a lasso at all. So just an easy turn into the Beastmaster ultimate and then into the calldown is going to spell the end of 2 of the lives of Moscow 5. But PGG, the arrows have been really good. Mirana is probably one of his signature heroes, mostly roaming with it. Yeah, the Batrider Blink Dagger, although it comes out at a decent timing, really hasn't shown its power, but it might down in bottom. Vigas also toting his Blink. I think they might find the Beastmaster if he decides to farm out the lane with anything
with
other than the score.
Look at the Hawk. It's going forward.
Okay.
And Tron should be spotted. Yep, there it is.
There you go.
Like, the Beastmaster is like, hey, guys, that's not safe there at all. But I think that happened just to smoke with the Hawk. I didn't swap the vision, so I'm not sure if he 100% saw it, but I think so. It should have been in vision. They saw that smoke, and I think everybody's just going back. Judging by the positioning and the movement of Denial, I think they are well aware of this one coming.
Yeah, so it's a lot of pressure being put out by Moscow 5, and their Shadow Fiend is farming, and they're also giving a little bit of room to their Mirana. It's not terrible that they don't find any of these kills, because Denial aren't farming either during this time. They're going to look for a stack, and the smoke is going to be completely missed. Smoke pops onto the Venomancer, but Tron doesn't have any backup now, and everybody's just going to straight up back off. We now have a Blink Dagger coming out at 16 minutes for this Beastmaster. Effing Matt's been able to find the farm around the map, and most importantly for him is 2-0-5.
Yep. It's quite impressive, like how fast he farmed that stuff together just with some camp stack, and the rest pretty much just from a tiny bit lane presence plus kills. But I guess he was the lucky one who was always alive, always survived the stuff, and was involved in all the kills they got. 10 so far. That's, I guess, what they really wanted. But oh, look at it, Mirana ultimate coming out. The problem is because it was seen. TP was there, and before it faded, or it was faster than the fading time. So this Mirana ultimate is again not doing anything. Denial just retreating back to the towers, and that's about it. Brewmaster going bottom. So maybe we're gonna see some action here.
I'm not so sure. The Batrider as well as Mirana are going to back out quickly, and both teams are, I don't know, just kind of dancing with each other. Whenever anybody wants to go aggressively, the other team completely backs out, and nothing's going to happen. The BKB's online for the Gyrocopter, so maybe it's Denial's turn to look for an engagement.
Oh, look bottom. Ooh. There's our engagement. A second slow, including all the damage, but I don't think they can do anything. Oh, maybe they follow it up. But the silence is coming out. One more, and that's pretty much it. But look at the Batrider finding here the Sky of Mage. That might be the price for getting that Ogre. It is a 1-for-1 support trade so far, and fucking Matt, he did the right thing. He just escaped.
Yeah, and it's also going to be a trade of ultimates. I think that's almost exactly even as far as the trade is concerned. Although the Ogre falls, he's able to delay quite a bit while they're going for him next to that tier 2 tower, and there's plenty of time for his team to react to that. So it's not really going to favor either side. The Shadow Fiend now with his BKB on top of his drums, treads, as well as Basilius is completely fight ready for this portion of the game.
And now it also starts to get worrisome for M5 when it comes to the Venomancer, because the Venomancer is more than halfway through his Arcana Scepter. Actually, they might find here Ultron. He's trying to TP out. Look at all the damage, and now we have to go to the fountain. Oh no, he was interrupted. And they might actually find more. If they throw the Ogre in the air, they might have even more. No Gale available, but the stuns should be there with the Boulder Toss. That's quite some slow and some stun. Maybe with the follow-up. Oh, the arrow. Perfect timing again by PGG. Multicast. He still has to run. All that poison, it is just too much. So Funzy and Paris, they get away with murder on the Batrider, but that's about it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very interesting game where even though there's action going on across the map, there's still somebody that's passively farming on both sides. The tier 2 tower up in top is going to be pressured by Denial, Beastmaster as well as the Gyrocopter here, and the only one in reserve for Moscow 5 is the Earthshaker. Vigas is now going to be accompanied by Tron, but the rest of their team is down in bottom. This still should be enough to draw the creep aggro, although their tier 2 is going to be dropped below half and potentially below a third.
Yep. But Vigos also achieved like a very nice point where he's really mobile. He can blink in Echo Slam, Fisher, Enchant, Totem, and 4-step out if he wants. Plus, chasing him and everything is kinda hard now that we have that 4-step. It's also very nice, obviously, against when your Blink Dagger is, for example, interrupted by Funzy. Then again, Funzy is also like one of those guys who can like just put that ward everywhere in like the most outer position of the map where you expect a Batrider, for example, to be and jump on you. That's exactly what you want. Then just one hit by that poison ward, plague ward, and you can't use your Blink Dagger for ages.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting to look at Denial's map vision, because whenever they're going for a push, they always have the Hawk, and they also have this little words coming out from the Venomancer to stop any aggression coming out from Moscow 5. They spot out the ultimate coming out from Mirana, and they're going to straight up back off, TP away from effing Mad, and Moscow 5 shouldn't be able to find anything, and indeed they won't.
Yep. It really feels like Denial when it comes to vision. I mean, they have good vision by the Hawk alone. And that's why they can focus, for example, on the enemy jungle with that ward, for example, on the pop hill or what.
Oh.
Did he just blow him up in seconds?
Yeah. It was a full creep wave, and Gyrocopter just got dunked. Like, that was... Yeah.
I'm showing the fight recap. That was Echo Slam, Fisher, and that's about it. And maybe even Tron is trying to fight something, but yep, that happens with the farmed Earthshaker versus a Gyrocopter who has not much as in HP wise. I mean, the only thing that boosts his HP a bit is the BKB, and that's it.
And he wasn't able to react. Blink Echo Slam is very hard to counteract with the BKB. Your reaction times have to be godly, and I assume he just wasn't expecting it. The Earthshaker finds a nice opening, and they didn't have vision over Vigos, so he's going to heavily abuse that.
Oh, but maybe the other farmer on the other side is also dying, because look at all the damage here, and he gets a primal split off with that maybe on PGG, but he will disjoin it by the leap, and I think that's about it. Even though they throw him in the air, he just wants to get for some damage here. The second Volatus will come out. Batrider's still around, but oh, Brewmaster, I think it's a mistake to be around. Your ultimate is ending right now. He needs to blink instantly, otherwise he's screwed. Actually, he's gonna get that kill, but he's gonna pay for it. So at least the two supports, they get something out of it.
The guaranteed crit's enough to secure the end of PGG's life, but still, it's Brewmaster diving probably a little too deep. That was a kill that Denial didn't need to give away. They could have just been happy with the kill on the Shadow Fiend, maybe even held on to the split. I think the Brewmaster, he splits after the Shadow Fiend dies, and just wants to make sure that that ultimate doesn't go to waste. But in mid...
Look at Vigos. That poor guy, that poor Earthshaker. I mean, besides everything missing here, but I mean, there's a rocket flying out. That rocket is not... Yeah, it's... Even that boar. I mean, before that, it was the poison thing by the Plague Wards, so he couldn't blink, couldn't do anything, he wanted to wait. And as soon as it was about to fade, fucking Matt came in, sent his boar, and he had the next poison debuff on him, which prevents you from blinking. It's hilarious. It's really hilarious that, because he's not really getting happy. I mean, the tower is denied, but we see the power of the Plague Wards right now. Like, Vigos can't do anything. As an Earthshaker, just can't do anything against Plague Wards.
Yeah, right now it's still anybody's game. Denial, despite taking quite a lot of map control away from Moscow 5, I don't see them threatening high ground anytime soon with the Mirana ultimate. They're looking for an engagement. Arrow's going to fly, Arrow's going to miss. Although it might have caught eyes onto the Brewmaster, I don't think so. They're going to ping out Blow Your Brain, but this might just be a 5-on-5 engagement that we've been lacking for quite some time. If they're able to find the initiation, it looks like Denial are going to blink in, but they only get the clap onto PGG. Echo Slam on the backline is going to catch out through. Follow-up Enchant Totem looking for the Fishery. Silence can't get it off, but still there's enough damage onto effing Mad as well as the Brewmaster. Now they chase down Funzy with one stack of Sticky Napalm. That's going to be all that they need. Now a Fire Blast from Kingar. It's going to be a double kill for Tron. Kingar needs to get out of there as he's taking down the poison damage and might just die to this. Yeah. Still, it's going to be a huge teamfight win for Moscow 5. They find a huge opening. The Brewmaster wanted to get the jump on them, but instead he was the one to become the jumpy as he gets the clap off, but isn't able to get the split. 4 stabs completely saved that fight for Moscow 5.
I mean, the Venomancer achieved what he wanted to achieve. He had Gale on 1 or 2, like almost everyone had the Poison Sting, and 3 targets or 4 targets had the ultimate, and this is Arganim's ultimate by now. It's a level 2, not a level 3. Still, it's a ton of damage. The only problem is they didn't have the other ultimates. We had no cooldown, we had no primal split, and we didn't have any X's or the Primal Roar. And
Yeah.
if that's all missing, that's exactly the damage that is needed to tick over those people, just by poison damage. I'm not talking about like directly even nuking them all, but because he's looking for an easy kill, but fucking Matt is jumping on him before he can do anything, and now there's only the Fissure and nothing else he can do. He has the 4 stuff on the high ground, but that's about it. Fucking Matt with vision, he's really the master of vision at the moment.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up, but still, Denial weren't able to do anything in that last fight, and as long as it's 5-on-5 and Moscow 5 are able to find a Blink Lasso as well as Blink Echo Slam, I don't see Denial really taking the fights. They need to pick somebody off beforehand. Batrider looking for a jump, but he's tagged by the Venom. It doesn't matter because he's going to be able to get the 4-staff Lasso initiation on the Funzy with follow-up Arrow and Fissure. They're going to find a pick-off where I didn't think they'd be able to do so. The 4-staffs are just working wonders for Moscow 5.
Yep. And I'm just looking. I'm actually wrong. I think does the Creator Ball, it does not interrupt actually TP. It does not do any damage, does it?
I don't think
slow,
so.
Movement slow, but I don't know. In my mind, it did a tiny bit damage in the past, didn't it?
I don't recall it ever doing damage.
Really?
But
Oh, maybe it's just me being drunk. Never mind me.
could check. Like, that's fairly easy to look up.
No, I mean it says it's nothing, but oh, there's an arrow following the Wild Wing Ripper here. They really don't want a stack for the Gyrocopter happening, and that's some 75 gold for Mr. PGG. Either way, it's 14-17. We're 25 minutes in, guys, and we have to look at the graph for the first time actually this game. When it comes to experience, M5 is leading by a ton. With that last fight, that was almost like what, 8k jump. They were before on 2k, and Denial was actually doing quite well, but this fight in bottom, plus the pickoff now top, that was 8k experience. And look at the gold. This reflects again that fight plus that pickoff top. All in summary is crazy amount. But oh, invisibility rune on the Beastmaster. He's getting away for now, but maybe they want to go on Vigos. They already know something's happening. That's why the Mirana pops the ultimate, and yep, everybody's calling for a retreat. Still look at that gold, that swing.
It's pretty ridiculous. Up until that last fight, it was pretty much anybody's game. The largest advantage that anybody would have was like 1,000, 1,500. We have an ultimate on the PGG, blinking for the Brewmaster, but the Fissure's going to stop the ultimate from coming through. Now the Echo Slam enchant totem, he can't get it off. Paris is going to be brought down, or will he? The right clicks for Shadow Fiend are going to be enough. The call down as well as the magic damage coming up from the Venomancer is going to be enough to secure the end of both the Earthshaker and the Ogre Magi's life. The BKB wearing off on the Shadow Fiend are going to force Blow Your Brain back onto his side of the map. The Axe is going to come through as he channels the ultimate. It's going to do a huge amount of damage to Cryo J. The Flame Break is also going to land, and now Funzy in a bit of a pickle. The missile lands onto Blow Your Brain. He's going to be 4-staffed away. Lincoln Sphere on Blow Your Brain. It's going to make it fairly hard for Denial to do anything else, and after all is said and done, it's only a 2-for-2 trade.
It's actually quite impressive. I mean, I think the biggest problem, or I don't know if it's a problem, I mean, the intention was good. M5 wanted to focus that Beastmaster down really, really fast. I mean, they committed the lasso for it, the Echo Slam on one target, Fissure as well, just on him, and I think the Venomancer in the backlines. But so much just on the Brewmaster. The Brewmaster, however, he was also greedy. He wanted to get that Thunderclap off before he goes into the split. And also the Ogre, that was Ignite plus the stun, the Fire Blast on him. So you see, they, I don't know, all their good spells like Initiation, except for the arrow, everything landed just on that Brewmaster to get that kill. And as soon as everything was out, Denial was like, hey guys, now we don't have anything to fear, let's go. So sacrificing that Brewmaster was really a good idea. But oh, talking about Brewmaster, in the mid, he found a Thunderclap on one, but King R is like, YOLO, you can't get me if you don't land your awesome Mystic Flare.
Yeah, and without the Mystic Flare, Ogre's going to survive. It's not a huge commitment coming out from Denial, mostly just mana spent by the Scarlet Mage, as well as the Brewmasters. They didn't split for that or anything of the sort. The Shadow Fiend, although he has a lot of farm, it's all defensive items, and the damage really isn't coming up from Blow Your Brain. I think his next item choice, I'd love to see a Daedalus, maybe even Monkey King War, coming out from him, depending on when Gyrocopter decides to pick up his Butterfly. But still, Blow Your Brain needs to be hitting quite a bit harder. Up until now, he's been able to carry through the game with just what he's holding on to, which is fine, but that's going to start changing. I still don't see this game ending for quite some time. Neither teams really seem that they need to push or go for any huge objectives. 3,000 gold pooling on the Gyrocopter and Shadow Fiend pooling 1,000. It looks like both teams are just waiting for more items.
Yep, but the problem is, like, he went for, like, you were talking about damage and everything. Oh, talking about damage, I think he's not doing any damage soon, but whoa, they found John in the backlines. And they get the mega kill off him. I actually thought they'd go for blow your brain, but then I was totally surprised. Fucking mad jumping on that well scouted Batch Rider, and they blow him up. That was actually, I think the bait was originally planned to be the Shadow Fiend and then the Batch Rider coming in, but they completely turned it around. But again, the Shadow Fiend, like back to that topic, he has like a Lincoln Sphere, and he's far away from actually dealing damage. I mean, obviously a Shadow Fiend always deals damage with just the souls he got and everything, but well, I'm not a big fan of this one, because the Lincoln Sphere, it only absorbs, what does it absorb? Rocket, the Mystic Flare, maybe one of them, the Boulder Toss, and the Axis, but the ultimate is not, for example, soaked up by it. So I'm not quite sure if that Lincoln Sphere is really worth it.
Oh no, I think it's okay. Since when he's in the BKB, he has nothing to fear. Is the only thing that's going to go through BKB that procs the Lincoln Sphere is the Beastmaster Roar. So he's going to be completely unchecked in the team fights. I'm okay with his item choices until now, but I think that needs to change. As in mid, we see a jump in from the Brewmaster, but he's not able to clean up PGG, and Defensive Fissure is going to delay that engagement. Yeah, they don't have the best tools to actually pop the Lincoln Sphere either, and even if he's just blocking a Boulder Toss, I think it's okay. I don't know, just personal preference. Right now, Vigos is very deep into enemy lines, as is the Bat Rider. It's still Moscow 5 not looking for anything huge. The Shadow Fiend, now with Aegis, it looks like they're going to put their eyes on this tier 2 tower in mid, and I think they're going to be able to take it, although effing Mad is split pushing top.
Yep, I think they want to go mid or bottom. They can't really decide. John is coming from either side. They want to get the Venomancer, but pulling him closer there, to be honest, I think this is just a distraction. The Brewmaster already with the split, throwing him into the air. Vigos is still in the background, but he can't do anything. He can't blink. Now his blink dagger is ready, but yeah, they're just going back. They're like, they settle for Tron kill, and that's pretty much it. At the same time, in mid, they try to do something, but no, nothing's really working. That was a, I don't know, that was a very awkward fight. This is the situation when someone hands you like, I don't know, a charcoal in your hands and like, hold it a minute please, because he was lassoing that Venomancer closer to Vigos, but Vigos was like, no, go away with it, I don't want to be poisoned, and then I'm completely screwed.
Yeah, right now the stack's going to be stolen by Moscow 5, and this is a lot of economic damage done to Denial. Is the Gyrocopter would love to have that extra bit of gold, and he's going to be denied, I think, what was a triple stack. Shadow Fiend, I think at this point, should just go for the straight Monkey King bar up against the Brewmaster, as well as a Gyrocopter that's looking towards a Butterfly as his next item. We are going to see a missile landing as well as nothing else. The double damage on the Shadow Fiend is pretty much going to negate any desire of Denial to look for this engagement. The tier 2 tower is probably going to fall. Lincoln Sphere is popped, so the Brewmaster or Beastmaster initiation is available. Ogre is very deep to enemy lines, looks for a Fire Blast, does find the Fire Blast. Arrow's going to land onto a creep inside the enemy base. Nothing more to really talk about now. Is Moscow 5 potentially looking for high ground?
Yep, they're really looking for it. They really want to push it, but oh, look at it, they got the Gyrocopter, and he's down before he can even think about using the BKB. Now Funsies, he got his load off by the arrow. Again, PGG, just beautiful. And Vigos, well, that was a kinda, wow, optimistic Echo Slam. He would have died from the Ignite, but he just wanted to make sure that he's down. It's a 2-for-0 trade with a tiny bit damage on the tier 3 tower. That sums it all up, and I think M5, they just wanted to retreat, and now they call for, yep, aggression, but the Brewmaster this time, is coming in. I think with that ultimate, that was, yeah, the end of that story.
Yeah, I think that's about going to sum it up. PGG dropped incredibly low by the Venomancer ultimate, which is 16 and axed up. They're looking for this Brewmaster while he's still inside his ultimate. The arrow's going to be soaked up by the Earth Panda, and now it comes back to himself. They're going to jump into King R as well as PGG, both blown up instantly. Now looking for Blow Your Brain. Still with Aegis, he's going to use the ultimate. Now turn onto Paris, doing a decent amount of damage with double raises, but can't do anything else on top of it. And I think the Shadow Fiend just needs to get out of here. The Blink forward, the Axis miss, and now they're going to slow him down with the Drunken Haze. Blow Your Brain, I think, is going to survive, as there's nothing else for Denial to chase him with.
everything missed on that Shadow Fiend. Like Denial, they just denied themselves almost a team wipe. But M5, that call to go back for this one, it was a really, really bad one. I mean, they wanted to get the Pro Master, and it would have been nice, but wow, they just lost 3 heroes for it. And the only reason that Shadow Fiend is alive is because they can't aim with their abilities. I mean, Axis completely whiffed.
Yeah.
What else missed? Like Thunderclap missed. Oh, everything missed. I don't know. Like,
more or
it
less
was horrible.
He still had Aegis throughout all of that, and I think he would have survived since he was holding on to the BKB charge. And now we're going to have a Monkey King bar on the Shadow Fiend. Despite going for a very damage-light build, was still doing quite a lot in that team fight previously, as Denial didn't really focus anything into the Shadow Fiend. And damage items or not, he still pumps out quite a decent amount of damage, just by being a Shadow Fiend, with the minus armor as well as with the Necro.
Oh, look at that go bottom lane, and it's Vigos again. He has an Echo Slam just to buy some time, maybe because he wants to do something before he dies, but no, he's like, he's given up, he's done with the world.
Yeah, Vigos, his last couple of Echo Slams have been fairly lackluster, just hasn't been able to find a huge opening. Your Monkey King bar is now on the Shadow Fiend, it's going to ship away those drums. The Aegis, I'm not sure exactly how long it has left, it's actually not very long on the timer. Buyback from the Earthshaker wants to get into this mid-fight as they pull back the Gyrocopter, blow him up. Echo Slam also lands, but only onto the Gyrocopter. Another single hero Echo Slam. They're focused down these Brewmaster minions during the split. They might be able to kill him off during the entirety of it. Let's see, the Far Panda is going to escape out, and even if they kill this Earth one, he's going to survive. They shouldn't actually kill this, they should let him respawn here.
Don't kill!
There we go, now he's back. But he'll be able to blink away to safety as they don't do any damage. They're still pursuing with Tron. They're going to blink forward, looking for the fissure. They'll find the fissure. Flame break back. Is it going to bump him over the fissure? And they don't have anything else. Buyback from the Gyrocopter. They're trying to chase this down. Arrows going to land nicely out of Paris. Scarlet Mage ultimate onto Vigos, but not doing enough damage. The call down is also going to land on King R with BKB. Jarrell still dropping too low as the Shadow Fiend's just going to town onto him. Blur Brain now ripping apart Funzy. That's going to be a triple kill. And now effing Mad in a bit of a pickle. Going to be dropped down. Ultra kill looking for the Rampage. Blur Brain probably not going to be able to get it. It is going to be a Rampage with the Death Requiem on the Skywrath Mage. The arrow from PGG is going to fly and doesn't land onto anything else. But they just can't deal with this SF. Unfortunately for him, he didn't have an Aegis in that fight. If they had an Aegis, Moscow 5, despite losing everything else, would have been completely fine. The only survivors after everything is the Brewmaster as well as the Bat.
Yep, and glad that the Brewmaster actually bought back on this one, otherwise the Shadow Fiend would have gotten out with this murder. Like, Rampage, like even if it's just in the death animation, it was a Rampage, and only the buyback on the Brewmaster actually saved the whole day. Also that buyback on Vigos was completely worth it. I mean, he got tons more gold out of this than he actually spent on that buyback probably. And yeah, overall it was definitely an advantage for M5, because yeah, the only one who got something out of this was the Brewmaster, and totally worth the buybacks. And now, well, the Brewmaster finds some farm in the meantime. They check Roshan, but that's all that happens. At the moment, we can call it sort of a draw, but the graphs, they talk still M5 language. That's the problem. The graphs are absolutely in Russian at the moment. It's 8,000 and a bit climbing, and well, 6k, 7.5k almost for gold. It's nothing you can't overcome in 6.82 though.
It's not, but I think the biggest issue for Denial is their farm distribution. The Gyrocopter before that fight also buys back, and his item progression has been completely stopped. Currently less than half of that, of the Shadow Fiend's items, and they're just not able to deal with the SF. Like, the Venomancer has decent farm, and his poison damage is nice. He's able to blink in an ult and take off most of these auxiliary targets, but if they can't kill the SF, it doesn't really matter. The Earthshaker, despite having not very much farm, has enough. Like, Vigos, as long as you're able to get your Blink Echo Slam, that's pretty much all you can ask for on an Earthshaker, since he is going for a fairly carry-light build. It's all of the eggs of Moscow 5 in this SF basket, but for at least the next 10 minutes of this game, I feel that's going to be completely acceptable for them until SF caps out.
Yep, absolutely. That's the problem. You've been calling it farm distribution, I just call it like a flaw in the draft, because the Gyrocopter just can't keep up with a Shadow Fiend. Like, I mean, his goal in the fights is pop BKB, do as much as possible damage on everything, and then pretty much the poison will do the rest. That was the original plan, I think. The problem is it's not really working out, because with the Shadow Fiend's BKB and now also survivability thanks to, for example, the Lincolns and of course his team. It's not really working. Even right now, if he stands still, is full of poison, and they nuke down the gyrocopter, he's still going to survive, and that's the biggest problem. I don't want to even know what's happening when he finishes like that satanic. Then he can just stand still, BKB on, and just have fun.
Pretty much, and then let alone his next item, whatever it is, like Butterfly, or if he decides against the Butterfly, since Monkey King Bar is probably in the gyrocopter's future and just goes for more damage of his own, like another Daedalus, it actually doesn't matter because he'll be able to stand his ground throughout pretty much anything.
And he's
right
so
now,
ahead in items as well.
Yeah.
I mean, like, before the gyrocopter even finished the Butterfly, he finished, like, the MKB. He's like, sure, you have that Eagle Song, I already got the next step for you, you know, he's just some steps ahead of the gyrocopter. And the gyrocopter, sure, he has a BKB, but after 39 minutes and BKB pretty much being the first real item on him, he just used it twice. And it's not because there was lack of fights or anything, it's just because he was blown up by Vigos all the time before he could even use that BKB.
Yeah, they've been able to find the lasso initiations on this gyrocopter through the last couple of major fights, and 6, 8, and 7 under position 1 farming core just really doesn't cut it. Down in bottom, Denial were looking for a push onto the high ground presumably, but the other two lanes were knocking at their front door and they decide against it. Currently a big group up by Moscow 5. They scout out that Roshan is available. The arrow is going to be shut out by the Mirana. It's not going to land on anything, but does scout out a couple of heroes. Blow Your Brain is going to be tagged by a couple of venomous wards. They will pop the Lincoln Sphere. That was an ultimate from the Beastmaster.
Okay, that answers my question of earlier. The Lincolns actually soaks up the ultimate.
Yeah.
So never mind that.
He just straight up forgot that Lincoln Sphere blocks the Primal Roar. So
I mean,
that
the Primal Roar is a low cooldown, so no panic when it comes to that.
A minute's enough for...
Now.
Yeah, and now they're going to find the lasso initiation. They find again the gyrocopter. They're now going to start focusing down. He gets the BKB off, but it doesn't even matter. Now the Brewmaster inside of his ultimate is being focused down by Blow Your Brain as he eats through Funzy next. TP away from King R is going to keep him safe. Ultimate from Blow Your Brain doesn't do a lot of damage, but is slowing down everybody. Funzy, one more auto attack is all that they need, and they'll be able to find that auto attack. Brewmaster is still alive. It's a 1-for-2 trade as the Ogre Magi survives inside the base. Tron 4-step away, trying to keep away from effing Mad, but now the Brewmaster back inside his original form is going to be focused down. The arrow is going to land. Blow Your Brain attacks a ward, didn't thinking that arrow was going to land on the Paris, and now they look for the focus down. Silence on this ultimate, or excuse me, Shadow Fiend isn't going to actually mean anything as he kills down the Skywrath Mage, and there's just nothing Denial can do about this SF. We were kind of talking about it previously. Now deep in enemy lines, effing Mad is effing dead. Like, there's nothing he can do here. He's just going to be burned down. Brewmaster kills off the Mirana, and now the Venomancer is going to die. Buyback from Beastmaster. He wants to get back in this engagement, keeping the tier 2. I don't think these two heroes can contest Roshan. I'm not sure why they're even trying.
Well, they can disturb them. Roshan hits quite hard, so I don't think Moscow 5 should go for it. And the longer they take for this Roshan, the more awkward it actually gets. But fuck him, man. Oh, there's the multicast, the Ignite even going on, the neutral creeps. Like, nope, they can't really stop it. Roshan on 50%, Haze Rune on King R, even buffing him up. Fancy's coming in. There's the ultimate, but the last two at the same time. He's going to die as well as John. But the problem is Blow Your Brain is still there, and now the Brewmaster is going to die as well. Gyrocopter coming in this time. We have finally used his BKB. He's not gonna get King R, he's safe, but they get finally that Blow Your Brain Shadow Fiend, and maybe now they can take over the Roshan, but no, buyback of the Shadow Fiend instantly. The Brewmaster, he didn't bother with Necro standing into Roshan and the Gyrocopter maybe sneaking it. Vickers is also around, so no, Roshan is not an option.
Yeah, it's really not. Moscow 5 are going to be able to take it. Buyback on the Shadow Fiend. It'll secure them an Aegis now on their SF. As well as probably a Satanic. I don't see a real reason to avoid buying it now at this point when your buyback is expensive. It's an expensive Roshan for Moscow 5, but it's still one team fight. They force out buybacks on pretty much everybody that has it available, and again, the Gyrocopter gets nothing. He's just focused down way too quickly in these fights. Moscow 5, despite the kill score looking fairly even for either side, it feels like they have a commanding lead in this game, even though the graphs aren't going to be unsurmountable at this point. 15,000 is still pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, for both graphs that is. The Gyrocopter, really, the biggest problem for him is he's just not surviving the onslaught on him. Like, right now, I think it's also coming down to a bit of a positioning problem. In my opinion, the Gyrocopter, he needs to stay way back. He must not be somewhere in the front lines, or he has to run in with the BKB on. Like, there is no other option for him. It's the third time, fourth time we see history just repeating itself when it comes to the Gyrocopter. He got the BKB not off the first time, he bought back, and then he used it sort of preemptively, where he just got that unstoppable streak of the Shadow Fiend, but that's about it. Talking about the Shadow Fiend, he just finished Satanic, and that's obviously bad news. Tron, top, well, there's a Mirana ultimate, but no, he's not gonna do anything with it.
Yeah. I don't know. The Shadow Fiend, he was dropped very low by the Venomancer ultimate. At level 16 with Agatha Scepter, that does a lot of damage, and Venom has been able to consistently get off onto a lot of heroes, but still the problem is they don't have any follow-up for it. Although it's effectively what killed the Shadow Fiend, that's not going to help now that we have a Satanic.
Look at the attack speed of the Necros. Like, this is just ridiculous. Like, 45 attack speed bonus from the Beastmaster. It looks so hilarious when those little warriors, they hit like they do some cardio practice. Oh, what an arrow here on the Skyrath Mage in the mid. Oh, he's gonna get blown up. There's no chance. They're coming in. There's a primal split, but look at the Shadow Fiend. He's just popping his ultimate. It's so much damage. Finds he's getting blown up. He got his load off though. But PGG, King R, maybe they're in trouble. At the moment, they try to focus the Shadow Fiend, but again, they just clean him up. And that's it. It's a 2-for-1 trade, and the Brewmaster, it seems like he's gonna be the next one. He's maybe standing in fire. No, he gets the blink out, but there's Vigos, and there are the stuns. He still has more to go. If he wants to, he can even go for the Echo Slam, but there it is. And that's the Gyrocopter. Last stand, but no BKB, and if it wasn't the right clicks, it was that incoming arrow. Fucking Matt is calling it, disconnecting. That draft just didn't withstand a better farmed Shadow Fiend. I think that sums up the whole game.
Yeah, I think it pretty much does. Not much more to say. Like that pretty much sums up the entire game. Gyrocopter could not compete up against Blurbrain.
Yep. No, it's a bit positioning, a bit timing on the BKB, and just a lead that Moscow 5 had the entire game. Well, that's pretty much it. Either way, it's a best of 2. We're going in game number 2, and Denial has a chance to come back. I like that draft, but it just didn't work. Not when the Shadow Fiend is so pumped full of everything. I mean, look at his items. He's 6-slotted with the Aegis, 25, and he has like tons of gold on top of that as well. Either way, guys, we're coming back for game number 2. My name is HeflaTV. Casting with me is Mr. Grandis V. The Grandis V.